We'll begin with Mr. Faught on this question. One of your candidates will face a Democratic opponent in November. Even though the number of registered Republicans is growing, approximately 70% of registered voters in our 2nd District are Democrats. What is your plan to persuade enough of them to vote for you in order to win this race?
Well, that's a softball. I've already proven that in my state house seat, where it is overwhelming 70% registered Democrat. And I think the key to this, and we can't forget this, and that's what we have to remember as Republicans, we want to win this seat. We don't want to just have a Republican nominee. And what I have found in my 6 years of service at the State House in a Democrat district is that Democrats are conservative in a lot of areas. They believe in God, they trust their Bible, and they want to know that their legislators listen to them. I've been able to bridge that gap so that Democrats will think, okay, Republicans aren't so scary. They're not everything the media makes them out to be. We're ordinary folks who happen to believe in conservative government. Conservative lifestyles, conservative government, and conservative philosophies. And if you ring those bells across this district, you will have a harmony, because people will understand that. We're already seeing it. We've got support up and down this district already, because people see my record, and they've seen what I've done, and I've done what I've said, and they trust in that, regardless of the party. And that's what we've got to remember come November.
I almost say that exact speech. I won a seat in 1994 that was 31% Republican. And that seat did grow to become more Republican by the time I left office. But again, at the outset, that seat was only 31% Republican. I learned to work on issues that had commonality. Welfare reform, when I passed that my first year in the legislature, I went in and reduced cash assistance, or eliminated cash assistance in many aspects. We kept some of it in place. But I also moved Medicaid spending towards education, child care, and health care, which should have been all along. And I think Democrats looked at that and said, hey, this is a reasonable person that we could work with on conservative issues that we all can get along on. I authored the 10-year moratorium on water sales to Texas and Oklahoma City, other entities outside our district. I also worked on a lot of issues like car tag reform, Second Amendment rights, concealed carry, things like that, that had uniform appeal to both Democrats, conservative Democrats, and Republicans as well. So, no, I think I would do very well on those issues as well. Being from southeastern Oklahoma, with a mom that grew up in Honeby, southern LeFlore County, dad from McCurtain County, I think I cut the legs out from under the Democrats because of my southern roots. And I think we would carry a lot of those southern counties heavily that they would be counting on. And I think then that combined with the Republicans in the northern end, we would win probably by the largest majority of any candidate.
That's a great question. I, for one, do not think the Democrats are going to go away lightly. I think they're going to fight. They have, between their candidates and their primary, amassed about $750,000. Both of the top candidates on the Democratic primary on TV. And I think you're going to see the DNC come into Oklahoma in November and fight to hold this seat. But I'm proud to tell you they're not going to be successful. Amen? They're not going to win this seat. If you look at this district, I'm from Little Dixie. How many of you have heard of Little Dixie? I was from probably a county that had the highest Democratic registration of any county in the 26 counties. And at the age of 18, when I went to the courthouse to register, I read both party platforms before I got to the courthouse and registered Republican. Was one of the very few Republicans in Johnston County at the time. Was elected mayor just a few months later in Tishomingo. But I think that what the Democrats are going to have to realize is the very first vote is the most important vote a congressman casts. In January, when we're sworn in, we will vote for Speaker of the House. And if you're a Democrat, you have to vote for the Democrat nominee. And if you're Republican, you're going to vote for the Republican nominee. And I'm going to proudly tell all the Democrats, the 2nd District of Oklahoma has voted for Nancy Pelosi the very last time to be Speaker of the House. And I think that in and of itself is going to win this race. I'll be proud to carry the banner through Little Dixie and be a proud Republican to win this seat in November. Thank you.
one thing for sure about District 2 is conservative. And when I look out across a group or whoever I'm visiting with, to me, party is not the issue. And I think that the more we make it the issue, the bigger the issue it becomes. When I talk to people, I talk to them about conservative beliefs. Pro-gun, pro-God, pro-life. These are the things that tie District 2 together. And I believe that when you get down to the real roots of the issue, you talk about the moral issues. I believe that District 2 is a moral people. Look, we all make mistakes. I understand that. None of us perfect. But that's not the issue. The issue is how do you live your life? Do you constantly try to live that life that we know we should live? And I believe District 2 is like that. So what I want to do is I want to relate to them to where we're at, where they're at in everyday life, and how that everyday life affects the decisions in D.C. That's who, to me, that's who District 2 is. And when I was raised in the country, and I was raised in a blue-collar family, and taught how to work from a young lad, and was taught that you work for what you get, and you don't depend on others for what you have. That's District 2, and that's the kind of people I can relate with.
Yeah, I think we've seen the attitude of the 2nd District. We vote conservative, we vote Republican at the national level. So, my experience over the last few months going all over the district has been that people are looking for the man and the message, not necessarily the party. We've got increasing independents that are registering. I've got all kinds of Democrats coming to say it's not very much a party thing anymore. It's who is the individual and do they represent my values. And I'm very proud to say that for 30 years I have served the country as an American. So when you've got to get a job done, whether it's here in our country or anywhere else, it doesn't matter who you're working with, you kind of come up with solutions that are implementable, they're practical, they're effective, and they actually answer what the problem is instead of just a bunch of talking points on these things. So my experience has been, again, working at the national level of our government with the intelligence community, federal law enforcement, Department of Defense, providing testimony to Congress, just about every agency that you can think of, both nationally and internationally. You have to come into a room, find the 70 or 80% solution that solves the problem, and then be able to come up with that solution that's actually effectively implementable. And so in my discussions with voters across the district, the message has resonated. They're looking for somebody with experience that knows how and why our government works the way it does, has a clear understanding and experience working with the challenges that are facing us, and they realize that the United States of today in 2012 is a bit different than it was in 1950 or 1872 or 1776. So my experience has resonated. I'm quite confident that we would carry this as a Republican seat, no doubt about it.